I heard Mahmoud say that in February you got Experts Live Riyadh or Saudi
Yes.
as well coming up.
I think I spoke at more than 80 conference,
Wow.
100 session.
Today with Copilot Chat, which is free for Microsoft 365, it does help a lot of people around. Welcome to the special edition, and I'm here with two amazing gentlemen who's changed the world for sure. And here I am, here to ask you and probably get into detail on how they've done things, how they've probably created an impact in this world and the organizations. And tomorrow, we're here for the Experts Live event, and we've got them, one from Germany and one from Belgium. Well, a global citizen, I would say, as well, based on the conversations that we had. So I'm going to start with Eric. So Eric is an MVP on Azure and data center management as well. And I've got a couple of questions, prepared it right now. So Eric, you've been deep in Azure governance and hybrid infrastructure. What's the biggest challenge organizations face in cloud adoption today?
The biggest challenge, that's always a difficult question because I think there are so many. If you want to know what's the biggest challenge these days, I think we all have seen the big evolving of sovereignty, which is a buzzword that's one of the next buzzwords, because we had the cloud buzzword first, now we had the AI buzzword for the last couple of years, and then due to a crazy guy doing things in the US, everybody's talking about sovereignty right now without really knowing what it means, or without really having a definition of what does sovereignty mean for me and my company. And I think that's a huge challenge, because a lot of people put things into sovereignty that's not really what they want, because you can have it on different levels. You can have it on a technical level, you can have it on a law level, you can have it on a management level, or whatever. And the biggest question is, what are you looking for? So I have customers, I'm working for a company, we do software for the government in Germany. So their level is everything that's related to a commercial company from the US is evil. It's super bad, we can't do this. So let's go open source, because open source is the holy grail. To be honest, if you have a look at like the Office alternatives, the last contributions to those open source projects came from Russia, came from India. So is that really a safe source? I'm not sure. And if we think about cloud adoption, it's pretty much the same. So people have something in their mind, but to put it into perspective, what do you really need? What are you really aiming for? And what are the right measures to put in place to make it secure, to make it usable? That's, I think, one of the biggest challenges. And there are so many features out there that we could use, that we could have used for the last, 10 years, but people simply didn't. And now everybody is afraid of losing control of their Azure or other cloud environments.
Amazing. So sovereignty, this is something that, when I hear about sovereignty, I look at more of a geographical aspect, where governments look at how their data could stay within their country. And recently, we've actually seen a lot of countries working with Microsoft on this data sovereignty. Could you just give a brief on why suddenly all these countries are looking at it?
Yeah, well, the data residency is a topic that we've been discussing for the last couple of years. It's also a thing of latency. Like if I need to access data in Amsterdam or in Ireland or in somewhere else, but I sit in the center of Germany, then that's a simple latency thing. So data residency was always a thing. And that's why we try to get data centers closer and closer and closer to the customers. So, and that's absolutely right to do that. I think the level that comes on top of sovereignty right now is that we lose trust. And for the last 10 years, I was traveling through Germany and in the meantime, the world, talking to customers about cloud. And one of the things that I always said was, cloud needs trust. If you don't trust your cloud provider, then it's the wrong path. Because there is a mutual trust that's needed, because there is a shared responsibility. They take care of the infrastructure, they take care of the services that they provide you, depending on if we're talking about infrastructure, platform, or software as a service, they take more care or less care about it. And you need to trust them, that they run their data centers operations really good, that they, deploy the SQL servers that you get from them in a proper shape. And if you don't trust them, then it's the wrong choice. And the issue that we have right now with all the things that are going on in the US, on the political side, all the extra tax that's coming, so people are afraid of extra cost. Now, in the last couple of weeks, we have seen the announcements of software export prohibition to China. So people are starting to think about, okay, what happens if they do this to Europe? What if we are not allowed to use that software anymore? So how do we run our businesses then? And that brings sovereignty and the whole sovereignty discussion to a totally new level. Because we're not just talking data residency anymore. We are really talking about, what if the data that's running in my country is no longer accessible because Microsoft is not allowed to operate it for me? Microsoft is not allowed to sell it to me anymore. And maybe it's not just even Microsoft, but it would also be AWS, Google, Oracle, and all the other cloud providers at the same time. So they're really looking for alternatives that are from Europe, that are operated in Europe by a European company. And then the biggest challenge in there with European technology. And now let's talk real.
Wow.
Where's the European chip factory? Where are the European GPUs? Where are the European operating systems? They're simply not existing. And all the network technology we put in the data centers, all the NVIDIA GPUs, they are not European. So sovereignty is a high goal, but it's really hard to achieve. And that's the big trouble that we have right now.
Wow, with loads of technology coming in, there's loads of questions that's coming out as well, and trust issues. So jumping on to you, Jamal. So Jamal, MVP category, Microsoft 365 development and SharePoint. Let me ask you, you've been basically leading voice in SharePoint framework and Microsoft 365 development. What's the next frontier for developers in this space?
Okay, let's start to present myself. My name is Jamal Abed. So as you check, I live in different countries. So
Yeah.
I was born in Tunisia, I work in France, and I live in Belgium.
Well,
And my LinkedIn in Dubai. So I started working on SharePoint since the year 2007, so almost 15 years now, or 17 years. So I started with developing, customizing the SharePoint product. And to customize the product with the online version, we develop on C#, and now with the online version with the SharePoint framework. But now with the AI, everything is different. Many customers, they think will move faster when you develop, but we'll see what happens next year, so next 2 years, next 3 years, in terms of development in different area, not only in SharePoint, but we'll see what will happen.
So what's your session tomorrow going to be?
Tomorrow my session, it's different. So tomorrow I will talk about another product, Microsoft product. It's called SharePoint Embedded. As you know, many organizations, many companies, they work on files, and they have many issues when they store their file. They want to search for their file with the AI and everything. So SharePoint Embedded, it's something new. It helps to create many containers inside your Microsoft 365 tenant, and you can store your file in those containers. And my session tomorrow, I will talk about how to build agents with Copilot Studio, and to make this agent available for your teams or other. If you are ISV, you want to sell your product, and to link the knowledge for those agents with any container inside your Microsoft 365 tenant.
So how do you see SharePoint embedding, I mean, especially with Copilot, how do you see it transforming enterprises on content management?
Okay. As a developer, I have many needs for my customer to develop, for example, many applications to search for their file, and you need to apply many filter, many search capability. But now, many customer, many user from my customer, they ask to search for their file like they do with ChatGPT or Copilot. They want to use their natural language model. They want to ask, search for me this file, find the file with this word or something else. So it's easy now to use this agent, make available those agents to the user. So you don't need to develop many sophisticated application, many search capability and everything. We make available agent, and they can search for their file, they do everything with their files. And we have also the hand on it, so we can specify for each agent from which data, from which container, from which website, from which SharePoint site. So we have the hand on it.
Amazing. Coming to you again, Eric, what's your advice for balancing agility and security in cloud native architecture?
Oh well, I think that's the question for the Holy Grail. Like how do you do everything at once, and how do you do it right? I think the first thing to balance it right is to put security into your process at the beginning. I still see customers out there that put security at the end. Like let's build it, let's start growing it, and then we have a look for security, and then it's too late, because then you're in production, and we all know never change a running system, and so we live with the little trade-offs, and then we carry on the security issues that we might have built. So put it up front, change your processes, change your methods, so really change the mindset maybe in the company. And when we talk about cloud native architecture, I think we're back at the question of, okay, what's the definition of it? Because I see a lot of customers coming in with let's call it a mindset of, oh, we go cloud native, but the way how to do cloud native is very different from company to company. So we have companies that do cloud native VMs, because now we have VMware in Azure, and that's my cloud native VM. But is that what I understand cloud native, or you understand cloud native? Most likely not. On the other side, if I run off-the-shelf products like SAP, it's simply not possible to go cloud native, and not everybody is developing their own software. So it's always a little bit of a trade-off of, okay, what are you running, what are you building, what are you operating, and you need to find the right mix, put security right in the front of it, and adjust everything around that to make the right pipeline, the right tooling, the right people. And it's a lot also about the people's mindset to carry them along, to understand how things are changing when you move to the cloud, and how roles are also changing. And I think that's still a thing, talking about those that say we have cloud native VMs. Why do they have VMs? Because they are used to. They had VMs in the past, they will have VMs in the future, and they have people trained on VMs, so that's why they do VMs. They've never come to the point to understand, oh, there is a benefit of going to platform services, or maybe to think about serverless for running their code or whatever. And that's a lot about education and
awareness,
carrying people along.
Right. And who do you normally talk to in an organization when it comes to these kind of conversation?
Oh, that's a good question. So what I did in the past, because right now I have a totally new role. I'm running the whole business for a company that's doing e-government software. Okay. So we are very far away from cloud these days, because the German government is very far away from real cloud. But in the past, I was always looking into Azure governance or cloud governance when it was multi-cloud strategies. And I always got this question, okay, who should attend the kickoff meeting? Who should attend the sessions? And I always said, like, everyone. Because if we really want to implement cloud, it's not an IT thing. IT is just the organization that will run it and that maybe creates the frameworks. But it goes all the way up into controlling and finance, because they have new invoices. Imagine in the past, you ordered a server. You ordered a server, you got a server. There was an order, there was an invoice, and it matched. And you could tick the box and you pay it and you're good. Now you go to Azure, you don't order anything, but you get an invoice. And that invoice looks different every month. So people in controlling, people in finance are getting crazy about it, because they're like, okay, how do we plan IT cost if IT cost is variable? And you need to change the mindset towards, hey, it's like electricity or like water. If your people wash their hands more often, you will spend more water. If your people buy more tickets in your online shop, then you will spend more stuff on Azure. But it's because you also earned more money because you had more people buying in your online shop. And that's how you need to transform. At the same time, and I answered in the last question, you need to carry the people along. So you need to help them understand how things, so you need the HR department, because you need a training program. You need to spend some time on that. So you need this. And then, and that's maybe the most important thing, nobody's going to the cloud to do cloud. So I've never seen a customer that said, like, oh, I want to go to Azure because they have so beautiful SQL servers there. Nobody ever. So there must be a benefit. There must be a benefit like, oh, we are running a ticket system where nobody is buying a ticket unless Shakira is playing in our conference hall. So, and that day when Shakira is playing, we have a huge backlog in ticket sales. So I want to optimize that. And then you have a use case. And with that use case, you start building a solution, and then you use the benefits of cloud. And looking at huge industry company, for example, those use cases are normally not in IT. Those use cases are somewhere in the business. They're in the HR department,
Correct.
in marketing, in production, in whatever.
100%.
And so you need those people too, because they are the ones that give you the use cases that you need to build to really leverage cloud. So it's pretty much everyone.
Exactly. I think today everything that we talk about is how you bring business value to it and the ROI, right? So I see your T-shirt. You've been a speaker. When was this? When did this session happen?
So actually, that's the T-shirt of Experts Live Netherlands from this year, from 2025. So they had an anniversary, and so they kind of put out the old logo that they used in the past. And actually, I wore that at the airport last night. And as I told you, we landed here and kind of immediately drove here. So
thank you for being here.
I'm still having that. So, and that's maybe also an interesting thing as we do this here in the mindset of Express Live Emirates. Express Live is a global format.
Yeah.
There's Express Live in the Netherlands, in Denmark. I'm the organizer of Express Live Germany. There's even Express Live in Africa now, in Australia, in the USA, in India, and so on. So Express Live is a really huge family. And we all do crazy community events in some countries with thousands of attendees, which is really awesome to have that community and to meet a lot of fellow friends, fellow MVPs, fellow tech experts. So
For sure. Because I heard Mahmoud say that in February you got Experts Live Riyadh or Saudi as well coming up. So great. I see great initiatives coming in the Middle East as well for people and the communities. And I see more MVPs because back in the days when I started off, probably around 2008 and early days, we saw only a handful of MVPs who gets renewed and it's the same people. But today we see more and more being pushed by the existing MVPs to get more MVPs into the community. And great work. That's amazing. Coming back to you, Jamal, again. Jamal, now developers, right? Looking into the developers, there's quite a lot of misconception because you've spoken in loads of community events. What's one developer misconception you often find yourself correcting?
You talk about I spoke in different communities. So last year, I think I spoke during the last 12 months. I think I spoke at more than 80 conference.
Wow.
100 session. And
last year alone?
Last 12 months.
Last 12 months?
So almost 200 flights.
Every third day?
Every day. And for example, before I came here, I was in Tunisia. I was organizing an event Saturday. And I spoke there. And I delivered a session online to one conference in Greece. And I flew to here, to Dubai. And last 2 weeks, I was in South Africa, Germany, Boston, San Francisco, Manila, Singapore, Colombo
as well.
Malaysia, India.
Amazing.
And what about developer stuff nowadays? It's for my customer. I notice every day there are many developers. They're using AI for their developer stuff. But all the time when you use AI, it's not when you don't have any time to correct result. You need to check. It's helpful, but you need all the time to check if it works or doesn't work. But you need to check this stuff.
So what's your approach to mentoring young developers entering the Microsoft ecosystem? So
nowadays, I have the chance when I study there are only two technologies, SharePoint or other stuff like LiveRay or other technology. But now what I notice, the young generation, they don't know in which direction they want to go. They need to follow. But with those conferences like Expert Live and other community conference, they can came to the conference, they can attend, they can learn something new, and they can ask their question. And it's as a beginning, they can start with this, and it's very helpful for them to start developing, or if they are developer, they can start developing. If they are business, they can start business and everything.
I mean, you said you've gone to so many in the last 80. Which country did you find the most, the country that was really interested or where you had the drive, who was really eager to learn? Did you find any certain, maybe one or two or three?
Yes,
top
in
three?
India. In India.
India. that goes without saying.
You organize an event Saturday, they are here until 6 p.m. Saturday, they are asking and they want to learn. And in other country, when you organize an event Saturday, it's very hard to have attendee, but in India they came and sometimes you have 50 person registered, you find 300 during the day. So it's very nice to talk to them. And also in UK, also in London, the same thing. So people, they came Saturday to learn and everything. So.
How can developers responsibly integrate AI into Microsoft 365 apps, like without compromising user trust or data security? Could you just say a few words on that as well?
It depends which app on Microsoft 365. For example, if they want to integrate with SharePoint or with other stuff, so they need to check the Microsoft official documentation like Microsoft Learn, and they should use, for example, the API for all the AI. So for it.
Yeah, Jamal, now everything that we spoke about was more on the development side, building solutions and all of this, but at the end of the day, somebody needs to use it, right? Because what I say, because I've been in the IT training industry for almost 18 years, training, I see technical team, which is probably 5% of an organization, but the rest of the 95% are users, business users to end users. So today, it's not technology that we are trying to train them. It's about how do you use the modern tools, right, and the services that are available. How do you balance this? I mean, while you also do start development, how do you bridge that gap between the business users or end users?
It's the same thing when we start work on cloud. The same question, so it's like now AI or not. Before we are working on on-prem, so there is no cloud. And when you start cloud, I think in 2010, and you have the same question, say to stay on-prem, stay on cloud. The same thing now for developer. With the AI, we have more or less developer. As you mentioned, you have 5%, for example, developer, the other they are business. I think the company, they should maintain developer, but it's very difficult now when they use AI. For example, when the customer now, they said, I can use any tools in AI. I upload only my needs. I have an application in 2-3 hours. So, and we should think also how to use it in production, but it's not the thing to build it, but we need to run it and to maintain it also. So, okay.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to, I would
Please,
jump on that thing,
please.
because especially like how do you enable the end customer or the non-technical people in the company to use AI? I think one of the first things we've all seen, and you mentioned Copilot, when Copilot came out, everybody was super excited. We've seen that nice demo at Ignite, and it was like, wow, I'm organizing the birthday of my daughter with it. Okay, and then it hit reality because we first tried to use it, and I've seen people using it in Excel where they had like their SAP data exports in there, and they started to ask Copilot in Excel questions about the data, and it didn't work. People started using it in PowerPoint, and they asked questions what they expected it to do, and it didn't work. People asked things about emails, and it didn't work. Why was that? Because people had to learn how to use it. And people had to learn what is it capable of and what not. Because it's like, if I talk to you and it's like, I want to take the data in my Excel and make me a diagram that I can show to the CEO like last week, you exactly know what I mean because you've been in the meeting. If I tell that to Copilot, Copilot is like, I don't know what your CEO has seen before, so let me do something. And it starts doing something because it's not doing nothing. And I think that was the huge challenge when Copilot hit. Everybody was super hyped. They tested it, and then it was like, oh my God, that's bullshit. That's not working. If you were steadily working with it, you've seen it getting better and better and better. Did it get better because the users got better in prompting? Absolutely not. Users are still doing stupid prompts in there. But Microsoft in the background did a lot to catch that and to understand what's the intention of a person, what are they trying to achieve, and give Copilot like the right directions to give the output. Is it perfect right now? Absolutely not. No. And I think that's the thing. If you start integrating AI into your own software, you need to think that way. It's not just, oh, let's put somewhere a command prompt and then people can prompt, because people cannot prompt. It's like people still cannot Google search. If it's like it's a challenge for many of them. So what you need is, and that's why we talk so much about agentic AI these days, you need an agent. You need some speciality that helps you to guide the user, that asks the right questions back, that guides the user along the path that they need to do. Because we cannot expect, I'm working with government, certain states have 25,000 employees. How would we train 25,000 employees to do proper prompting? No, they should do their work. They should work on the contracts. They should work on helping people. They should work on, building schools or whatever they do in their day-to-day jobs. So they need to focus on their roles and not on how to prompt properly. But at the same time, we need AI in those roles because, especially in government, in many, many countries, we have a huge backlog. They are not able to handle all the data that's coming in, all the requests that are coming in. So they need AI and automation in a certain way to handle all the volume and the load. And so we need AI that is focused on special tasks. That's, I think, the main challenge for developers these days, to think through what is the end goal and not just to say like, oh, I put AI on something and now we can do some AI, because some AI is never helping anyone.
Wow, yeah. I mean, prompting is needed. You need to know how to prompt or the right way to prompt based on your roles, probably, right? So
I would disagree.
I would, because, okay, you would disagree. And why is that?
I would disagree. Prompting is needed, yes, but not from the end user. You cannot expect the end user to prompt. The end user wants to use natural language and achieve a goal. So as soon, and it's pretty much the same with software. In traditional software, we've always been talking about intuitive use. Every software that I need to explain before I can use it is not intuitive, and people will have problems with adoption. And I think it's the same with AI. If I need to change my way of working, if I need to change the way I'm talking, if I need to change the way I'm writing, for an AI to work with me, people will have problems adopting it. And so I would politely disagree and would say,
but if you do not
the developer needs to prompt properly so that I can put in whatever bullshit I'm talking about, and the AI will catch it and make a good result out of it. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so you're basically wanting the AI to understand you, but that is where you need to tell about yourself, right? You need to explain about who you are, what your role, your personas, basically train. So that's where you said agentic AI comes into play, because you build agents for your different tasks and roles, right? Okay, so a lot of strategy needs to be put into place.
Absolutely.
Right? So, yeah, I would say, but the end users today, what our organizations have done is we've given them the Copilot licenses, and the senior management thinks, okay, now that I've given you the Copilot, it can do everything.
Yeah. And if you have a look into the statistics, the first thing that happens if you give someone Copilot, they spend more time on the same task. Because they now try to achieve the same result in PowerPoint or Excel with AI that they did before manually, and they don't know how to prompt it. So they try 1 prompt, 2 prompts, 3 prompts, 5 prompts, 10 prompts, and after 15 prompts, they go back to their manual thing because they need to get their work done. So they wasted half an hour and then did the work that they did before again. So and that's the gap that we need to close. So, and that's why those agentic things, like imagine you have to talk to ChatGPT and you have to explain to ChatGPT first how your, travel reimbursement process looks like in a company. And then you say, and I had a flight, and that flight was approved by, and now I want this invoice to be reimbursed. Nobody will do that. What I want to do is like, hey, here's my last travel receipt, please reimburse me. That's what I want to do as a user. And the AI, the agent, must have all the knowledge in the background. It must be trained, it must be pre-prompted to handle that. It must understand, okay, so if Eric says, hey, here's my travel receipt, it immediately needs to understand, oh, he's going for reimbursement. Oh, I have to have a look at this receipt to understand if it's a proper receipt, and so on. So it needs to be pre-trained. You cannot expect the end user to do that proper prompting to guide the system to give you a proper reimbursement.
So it goes on a balance, right? Basically, Copilot tells you what to do, and the agentic AI does it for you.
And here the developer also. The developer need to guide the end user with the tools to find the best result and everything about it. And also when you use AI as developer, you spend more time also it's my experience. For example, when I started developing 20 years ago, if I need to search for something, I search online. I find the blog and copy paste. It works. But now with AI, you need to check. It's not all the time you have the same result. When you copy paste it, it's sometimes works, sometimes not. So I spend more time to correct what the result from AI than from source like a blog or other stuff.
Because I'm a hardcore user of generative AI, especially on the content building to, even my day-to-day task. And today with Copilot Chat, which is free for Microsoft 365, it does help a lot of people around. So now let's talk about UAE, right? UAE is one of the top or the top countries in the world for AI adoption, right? In the diffusion rate, you could see 59.2% to be exact, right? Which is one. What have you all heard about UAE? What do you all, what are the takeaways or on this, even this experts live initiative that's happening here? Maybe a few words on that.
Tomorrow we will see. We'll see that indeed the question if in which topic they are interesting, what kind of question about it. I think here also, if you need to launch your startup, you need to launch your company, you'll find more facility from the government and from other business, and it's more easy for the company to launch their business.
Oh, that's very quick, yeah.
So, without knowing much about the Arabian Emirates, I have a guess. And I guess that it's the benefit of late adoption. And I have an example for that. In Germany, we have huge problems digitizing government because they started very early and they did it super crappy. And so they are still lingering around with their old stuff. If you have a look to Finland, Finland got their freedom pretty late. And so that's not Finland, sorry, wrong country, Estland.
Okay.
They are super digitized because they started very late. So they started and immediately said, okay, we will do this all in computers. We will do this all in websites. We will not do any paper process anymore. Germany started on paper, and get rid of paper is difficult. And I assume, and it's absolutely just an assumption, that we have a little bit of a similar situation here. Dubai and the cities and countries around have evolved over the last years. There is not really a technology 100-year history or something. Yeah. So they got in, but they got 100% in. Correct. They not just said like, oh, let's do a little bit of tech. No, they said, let's do real tech. And so they adopted super early. They got into technology. They really meant it. Like Estland meant it with digital government. And so you adopted AI really, really early, and you got people excited about it. And you have the right mindset for that. And I think that's one of the things that I see from the outside, and I hope that during the event tomorrow I can validate that, or somebody explains me what's the other reality behind that.
I see the same thing when it comes to organizations as well, right? We're jumping into certain things even without knowing because of probably trend or the compliance or necessity. We're very transactional, right? But not looking into the solution that can really help the organization at all. So what advice or what is it that you would like to say to these CIOs or the CTOs or the future CAIOs, I say, right? That's going to be a role that's going to be coming up in massive. So, UAE is one of the first countries to have a minister of AI, right? One of the first countries as well. So, to these organizations or these leadership, just a small message from each one of you.
I think the best message that comes to my mind is be brave to take a bold move. So if you think something is good, just do it. If it's not good, you will learn from it. And if it's good, you did the right decision. But to think about it for the next 5 years is never the right thing. So be brave enough to do a bold move. That would be my suggestion.
And also I have an advice also. You need to check what the other they are doing, like for this event tomorrow. If they came, they can check the sponsor or the company, the speaker, in which product they work, and they can learn. So it's better to see the other, what tools they work on it, what are the solution, and they can ask how it work and everything. So,
perfect. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jamal. I think this is amazing because What Jamal said is learn from the others, right? And what Eric said was be bold in making those decisions. So tomorrow at Experts Live, we're going to meet both of them, come by, and we would love to see how the other speakers and everyone, and there's so much of knowledge to consume, but then we need to have our niche, understand where we want to go and be in that journey. So thank you once again, and I hope you guys get some good sleep before we come and bring the ceiling down tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.